Between Robin's tragic past, Kuma's heartbreaking journey, and Roger's legendary laughter, flashbacks are the lifeblood of One Piece. And Flashback Oda is a legend in the community. This is a man that is literally operating at peak performance, and I don't think he's ever truly missed on a flashback. Besides Kaido, but we don't talk about that. It was just a joke. Throughout the years, we've gotten some absolute S-tier stories, and with the interesting conversations going on around Brook's current flashback, I wanted to talk about more that we absolutely need to see later on in this story. So what are the most anticipated flashbacks for the future of One Piece, and what can we expect from them? The conversation gets really interesting when you try to predict what you can learn from it, what it can provide a narrative, so on and so forth. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing today. So without any further ado, let's cook. But please, like and subscribe. It helps a ton, and I'm really trying to grow this channel, so I would really appreciate it if you did that. Now, first up, we have the man, the myth, the legend himself, who other than Gold D. Roger. And I got a pretty hot take on Roger. It shouldn't be a hot take, but it is a hot take. Roger, to me, is still the very strongest pirate, the absolute pinnacle of piracy that we've seen so far, outside of maybe Joy Boy, who we haven't seen much of. Now, I know there are a lot of world's strongest titles flying around, but all of those guys pale in comparison to the King of Pirates when you ask me. And maybe this shouldn't be a hot take, but I do feel like the community has gotten really comfortable with putting people above Roger, and that's really why we need this flashback. We still haven't really been shown Roger's brilliance in full, and God Valley Roger was disappointing to many because he was in his little gooner mode. You know, he was young, he was out here just burning the streets like much of us did during our youth. But it really didn't ruin him for me like a lot of people was complaining, saying, oh, this guy is nothing compared to Rocks and he's the fake king of the pirate. Y'all was wildin'. Calm down. But there is so many things that we need answered about Roger and his journey. And for me, the most important question is, where did Roger get this straw hat from? That question is really massive because it implies that somebody had a lot of knowledge about the past and enough knowledge where they saw something special in Roger and gave it to him, unless one day he just happened to see a straw hat and picked it up and said, this looks pretty cool. That could be cool, I guess, but I think I would prefer the other route. Where did he meet Rouge? What was this strange anime sickness that he got? We know that authors love to conveniently put sickness on characters that just cannot be around for too long. And I do love how he spun the idea that Roger was captured and executed to, well, he just knew he was on at the end of his rope and he just turned himself in. I really like that a lot compared to him actually losing and being captured, because that just doesn't fit for the King of the Pirates. But I do want to know, what is the source of this sickness? And why will Chopper be the one that cures Luffy when he gets that sickness? That's a theory I have. That is when Chopper is going to realize his dream. But that's another video. I personally would love a little clarification on where he found Buggy, because it's definitely going to be important. Probably something we learned during his very own flashback, which I'm not including in this video now that I think about it, but I probably should have. But hey, we always got time for a part 2. I don't think we're going to get time to dive into how he met Gabon and etc. But I would really love to know how he met some of his crewmates. We saw Rayleigh, which was a really interesting thing, but I want more. Either way, Roger's story is a non-negotiable for me. We end this without getting Roger's flashback, unless it's going to be a scenario where, okay, Roger gets a separate manga or, you know, like a one-shot or whatever on the side. I'd be fine with that, but I do think that Roger's flashback is something that we kind of have to see within the context of this story. So next up is the Fleet Admiral Akainu, and honestly, I will be seated for this one, because for him to have such an intensely burning hatred for pirates to the degree, see what I did there, that Akainu does, it really points directly to a really tragic and sad backstory. And from the picture that we got of him as a kid, he didn't have much comfort growing up. That's my PR version of saying he was broke. I feel like we have 2 routes we can take when it comes to Sakazuki's life if it was something that involved pirates heavily when he was a kid. The first route being him growing up on an island that was kind of ran by pirates and them introducing a really strong tax systems on the people that lived there, which made everyone struggle to pay. And I think this would be pretty cool because it could be a scenario where later on, Akainu comes full circle and learns that, hey, the people I've started working for are doing the same thing that the pirates did to me, that forced me into the route that I came down. Now, I became a better person, and well, to say that about Akainu is crazy. I took a route that was better than most, and I joined the Marines. But a lot of people won't have that luxury and they probably became pirates. You start to understand that the actions of those who are in power lead to the people that are under making rash decisions. I don't think Akainu is gonna have some type of talk no jutsu moment where he's like, yeah man, dang, I was wrong. But him realizing that would be pretty massive for the story. Honestly, it doesn't matter because Luffy's still gonna beat the shit out of him anyway, right? Now the other option is maybe he was actually raised by pirates. He could have been a member of a crew as a kid. But the lifestyle was just so crazy, and maybe the people that raised him were betrayed by other pirates. Maybe some crewmates, maybe some allies, or they could have betrayed him. We've seen pirates leave their children behind before. Shout out to Cuddy Flam. My boy still got out the mud. Queen being Frankie's dad is actually pretty insane, I'm not gonna lie. And the fact that it was kind of glossed over in the story lets me know that there was way too many people in Wano. But more should be dropping a Wano analysis soon, right? Right? Either way, I'm really excited to see what we get for him. Maybe we also get some answers about his obsession with Dragon. Maybe they joined at the same time and were members of the same platoon, and him seeing Dragon, who was the son of Garp, maybe he was like, he's a Nepo baby. Why am I grouped up with this guy and I'm way better than him? Because Dragon doesn't seem to be the most competent Marine when we meet him at God Valley. So I can see a scenario. And it could have been Dragon getting picked to go to God Valley that made Sakazuki really mad with him. I think it's going to be really interesting to explore their relationship. And it's going to be one of those one-sided relationships where one guy is like, man, I hate this dude. And the other guy's like, yeah, what's up, bro? What's your name again? So yeah, we're gonna see that. I think it's gonna be interesting, so I'm looking forward to it. Now I'm gonna make the Void Century flashback just one section in itself because honestly, I don't have much to say that hasn't already been said. We have to learn about Emu, Joy Boy, Davy, and whoever the hell Dosan is. He's a new name. Emu just randomly dropped out of nowhere. So I kind of theorized pretty heavily about the Void Century and their connection to the gods with the D-Clan, at least in my last video that didn't get many views. So please go watch that after you leave this. I think it's a pretty interesting theory. But the possibilities are so endless with how he can go with the Void Century that I don't think it would be really wise to use my time just throwing stuff at the wall, hoping something sticks. We know what we got to learn about because we see how the world is now, but the why and the how, I got nothing for you. So the world government formation, the ancient kingdom, what made Jorba go out to sea. I think Toki is a sleeper. A lot of people kind of moved on from the Toki train out the Wano, but we do have to learn about Toki and why she was sent to the future from the Void Century. And of course, Lily pulling the plug and sending the product. Like, there's a lot of stuff, but I look forward to seeing it for sure. Now, next up, we have Dragon and Garp. I think these flashbacks are going to be handled in a similar way to Loki and Harrow's, where we start with the father and then we transition to the son later on and follow his story. So we're going to get some background information on Garp because Garp and Roger already had a rivalry by the time we got to God Valley. So where did this start? Why do they hate each other? And the biggest question to me is what made Garp join the Marines? He seems like the least likely person in this entire story after his grandson, Luffy, that would actually be a Marine. So it had to be a really important or really major life event that made Garp just say, yeah, I think I need to join the Marines. Maybe he just wanted access to food and shelter consistently. I feel like that's the easy answer, but I think there is going to be something really important. So I do believe we'll follow Garp all the way until he has Dragon, do a little skipping around, do a little recap of God Valley, then we pick it up from there, and it's just Dragon. Dragon's story can take us a lot of different places. We got to learn about his connections to the Shandorans, allegedly because of his tattoo. We got to learn about why he transitioned from the freedom fighters to the whole revolutionary army. We got to learn about Luffy's mother, and with that being said, also his mom. Where are these women? Who let Garp impregnate them? These are the questions that we really need answered. And I do think it would be really interesting if Oda kind of went away from what everyone is thinking. What is that called? Subverting expectations. And didn't get just some lady from Amazon Lily and found a woman that was on another island that probably was also pretty important, or it could just be a random island. It doesn't matter. But Amazon Lily, we know beautiful women live there, but there are beautiful women other places, and you don't got to spam Amazon Lily wife with every important character. I know he hasn't really done that, but let's not make it a thing either. I'd also love to get some clarification on the current status of their relationship. Did things improve? Have they gotten worse? Garp said that he heard that Luffy met his dad at Log Time, but from who? Was it Smoker just doing his correspondence and kind of giving a rundown of what happened? Like, yeah, I saw Monkey D. Dragon in Logtown saving some kid. Or did Dragon himself meet Garp and tell him, hey, I met Luffy going out to sea, he decided to be a pirate. I think it would be cool if they rekindled their relationship, because if you ask me personally, Garp FC still has a lot of PR that needs to be done for Garp. Yes, we got a decent reason for him staying in the Marines, but I still think that we need a lot more things from Garp before his whole reputation can be really pushed into the positive direction. If he's been helping Dragon on the low, using some Marine resources to help him build the Revolutionary Army and kind of keep things running smoothly, that would do wonders for Garp. I do think it'd be pretty cool if they had fixed their relationship though. I do like to see parents and kids reunite. Maybe it's because I'm a father, so I don't know. I want to see Garp and Dragon having a conversation. So let's talk about Nami, and I know what you're saying. Well, hey Crow, we already got a flashback for Nami. Well, yeah, but she was an orphan, and we know in One Piece, if you were orphaned, that means there was a whole other part of your life that Oda is just saving if he wants to add a second story, especially if you're a Straw Hat. Now is the time for Nami to get her second story. Not to mention her mysterious affinity for weather points to her having some type of special family connections, maybe to some Void Century stuff. And the name, Okiat Kingdom, which is a play on, it's the opposite of Tokyo. There's no doubt that Oda is going to explore the destruction of this island for one, but he also has to tell us what made Nami special. You don't see babies just randomly bundled up and put in safe places during the destruction of islands. Obviously, someone put Nami there because they wanted her to survive, probably because she's important. And you know what I really don't want to hear is the crying from people who get so upset when people in stories have special connections or some type of special past or something. Brother, if you want to go watch regular people do regular stuff, go outside. It's a bunch of people out there just walking around doing random things. This is a story. The people are going to be special, okay? Special things happen because of special people. Not to mention, we also have Kobe, and he could very well be from some special line, but I don't even think Oda's going to do that with him. But that's besides the point. Stop crying. It's a story, bro. It's a shonen manga, by the way. Now, while I'm sure there are several others I could have named, I'll save that for a part 2 because you know we gotta milk the views, dog. But anyway, if you made it this far, I really appreciate you. Please leave a like. Please subscribe. It means a lot for the channel. It means a lot for my growth, and I'm really gonna get consistent. I mean, I've already gotten a lot more consistent than I was. But this whole little summer, 2 videos a week. Book it. If I don't do it, you can slap me if you see me in person. But I didn't say I'm not gonna slap you back. If you made it this far, bro, I really appreciate you. That's real love. I'm thankful for everybody that tunes in to each and every video. And I really, really look forward to seeing you in the next one. Peace out. Join the Gold Tooth Pirates.